Next is from Niall Foster. The subject is P.S. For the first time in my life, I just saw the music video for Bad Street USA. Such a cool song, and let's be real, Michael P.S. Hayes looked like he was out of his mind during it. I hear a lot of stories about him being a crazy party guy, and I was wondering if you guys heard any stories about dealing with Hayes. Let me give you, okay, either stuff you've personally experienced or maybe funny stories that you've heard about him. Now, I'm going to cut this email off right here. You need to bring, we don't do that on this show. You don't say, hey, what do you think about, hey, could you hear your stories about Michael Hayes? We don't do that. If you have a specific story that you've heard, we will discuss whether like we had this, heard, like we discuss a story if we have knowledge of it. But just to tell us that, you're dumping like a Michael Hayes plate in our lap, and now we have to talk about Michael Hayes, we don't do that. So just for future reference. Also, guys, I follow the whole K100 crew on Twitter. Billy seemed to spend his entire Christmas day arguing with K100 listeners. You guys need to kick his ass. How the is that a way to draw people into your show? Billy Body, none of us can stand him. The funny thing about this is that you knew that he was arguing with K100 listeners all day. I didn't. if you guys are like, bro, you don't have to listen to his show. Why are you go? Why if he has a YouTube thing and you're in the thing, why are you listening to that? I don't get it. It's like people
because Husey tricks them into listening.
Oh, you know, bro, they all get each other riled up. It's hysterical. I'm like. He still hasn't learned his lesson, and the listeners haven't learned their lesson yet. It's crazy.
Right. If you're being triggered by him or he's being triggered by you, you're both losers, bro.
It's like, yeah, you're both taking the L. Who's getting the W there? Right. Right. Oh, my God.
Whatever you give power to has power over you. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that.
Next is from Great Greatness. The subject is Storm. The greatest gift K100 gave us this Christmas is not including Billy Body on the Christmas special podcast and also taking Wrestling Informer off the YouTube channel. I still would like to know why you guys thought that a guy with no recording equipment, presenting skills, or any provable sign of having a fan base would be the right guy to give a YouTube show to. Very rare choice, but thankfully you guys noticed the damage he was doing to the show. Question. For Christmas, one of the gifts I got my son was WWE 2K22, and him and my daughter were playing it all night. All night. I should have bought them books. My daughter kept playing as Toni Storm, and that got me thinking. What are you guys thinking for first year run into AEW? For me, it has been a real mess. Big debut, storyline to chase the title, and then dropped it, and is now just another AEW wrestler on TV sometimes. Konnan, buddy, I hope you're back to full health in 2023. You're the man, and I suppose the other two guys aren't so bad either. That's some greatness. What do you think about Toni Storm?
Well, I had seen her in WWE, and I thought, bro, this girl could be a star just on her looks, and she could work. And then when she went to AEW and they immediately pushed her, I thought, wow, finally what WWE didn't do. But, bro, she didn't hold up her end of the bargain. She wasn't booked right, but she really had no charisma. She didn't really interact with the crowd. She didn't command, like she didn't come off as a star. She looked hot as, she didn't really have good promos. So you just had
she didn't have any time. She had no character development. She did. You bring this girl in. She did a minute promo here, minute promo there, 45 seconds. It's like how do you get behind that?
Right, but
it's like you're really learning nothing about her.
Here's the thing, and this is not trying to put us over, but it's gonna sound like it, bro. If they would have given you 1 minute or given me 1 minute, we would have gotten over.
Yeah,
and
we did it all the time with Mean Gene.
Right. So I don't, so for another wrestler, if they're not going, hey, you're giving me 1 minute. All right. I'm going to kill that minute. Right. That's what I would have done. They don't do that, bro. You got to mouth feed them and you got to all that. Creative is at fault, but so is the performer.
This was our,
bro. I can't think of anything you ever did that was boring.
When we would do the market specs, and they're called market specifics, like when you're giving an interview for Baltimore, Maryland, we would go in this room with Mean Gene, right? And he'd get like a minute and a half. We would always tell a story. Right. Like the story would be like, hey, I got a guy, he's kind of shady. He's got some tickets, you need some ticket, or be like, we're wrestling in my hometown. I'm sure I'm going to be in the main event. Let me call Goldberg and see if he wants to be in the main event. It's just like
my whole shtick was always, we're going to go party. Mean Gene, come with us. He goes, oh, do I fit in? Of course you fit in.
Right.
So that was our running guy.
Right. Yeah, we were like I thought I was a bigger star than I was on the show, like the main event, and always
we've actually had some of those as Easter eggs.
Yeah, we'd always have a ticket hustle going like, hey, you got a ticket? You know, like, hey, maybe we can get some of the fans to do something for the tickets, you know, stuff. And then if we do that, like, and my hair, I would always be like, you know, like fixing my hair.
So let me just say this about Toni. I think the way they booked her has been a disappointment, but she also hasn't pulled her weight. What do you think, Disco?
Well, like I said, all the criticism we discussed all the criticisms of her as she was performing on the show. She doesn't ever stop and command the ring.
Right.
Like she doesn't stop and bask in the crowd and try to work, you know, she just wrestles and it's just like a run-on sentence. There's really no dramatic interlude. I don't know. It's just like, you know, she needs to learn how to. I mean, Charlotte Flair is like the template for how women need to wrestle. The slow entrance, I'm a star. She gets in the ring, I'm a star. She does a move, I'm a star. You know, she's just like she knows how to command the crowd, and a lot of these girls just don't know how to do it. So